We've been doing this idea presentation for this is like 12th idea pitch. And then I think we have presented the 13 companies so far. Even though we are long-term investors, over the time, many of them we have exited. And then recently, we have two exit from our previous ideas. Agro Kanesho, which we presented 9 years ago, which was decided to be acquired by a strategic company. So we exit through a tender offer. And also CRE, which is the warehouse development, the real estate company. We presented 2018. This company also decided to go private, being acquired by strategic investors this year. So we have closed the investments. So these like 15 or 14 names, I think we still invested in EM Systems, Hikari Tsushin, Mercuria, Oaknet, and then Daiei Kankyo. So like five of them were still invested. So I'll only do the quick intro and the summary of past ideas. So today we are going to talk about the interesting animation related, anime manga related company. And it will be presented by our team members, Jeff and the Patrick. So from here, I'll let them make a presentation. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. So yeah, let's get into Alphapolis. So really, we like this company because we think it's an undiscovered gem in Japan's content IP industry, which is really in a very attractive place to do business. So the main things that Alphapolis is engaged in is they're mainly a publisher of light novels and especially manga, which you can think of as basically graphic novels. And increasingly, their business is also expanding in the area of anime. And both manga and anime are high growth niches, not just globally, but also it's a growth market domestically within Japan, which we really like. And one of the main reasons for this, especially in terms of global growth, is because these genres are actually becoming mainstream entertainment for Gen Z, even in the United States. And on top of this, Japanese content assets in manga and anime are actually very scarce. There's not very many of these companies, and even fewer of them are publicly listed. And so because of this, and because of the growth I've spoken about, valuations are rising, and investors are increasingly sort of recognizing the attractiveness of this area, and also investors are coming in and there's more industry consolidation happening. So really what's special about Alphapolis, and one of the reasons we like the business so much, is because they have kind of a unique business model. It's user generated, where users who want to essentially become writers, they publish stories on Alphapolis's platform, and other users read those stories and vote on them. And so basically the most popular stories rise to the top, and Alphapolis has a way of basically selecting from this content stories that are much more likely to become hits when they're published. And so as a result of this, Alphapolis has a much higher hit rate than normal publishers. On top of this, they're successfully adapting many of their manga series into anime, which we'll get more into. So overall, the economics are very attractive. They have 73% gross profit margins, 22% operating profit margins. As you can imagine, it's a very capital-light business. And for Alphapolis specifically, they've had very strong growth over the last 5-10 years. Sales growth has been 15% per year, and profit growth has been compounding at 11%. And finally, valuation we think is really cheap. And the more we tell you about this industry, you'll see how low 8 times EV to EBIT really is for a manga publisher in Japan. And really, when we use conservative estimates, we think that 44% upside is kind of our lower bound valuation estimate. And there's several routes here to multi-bagger scenarios, we think. So I know some of our audience might not be too familiar with the niche worlds of Japanese comics and animations. So I just wanted to start with some basic terminology for today. So manga are basically Japanese style comic books or graphic novels. So you can see here on the left, this is a frame from one of the most famous mangas in Japan called Dragon Ball. It's a black and white comic. And anime are Japanese style animated works, usually TV shows, but sometimes movies. And importantly, and as you can see here, many of Japan's main anime series are based upon successful mangas. And so Dragon Ball is maybe one of the most famous examples here, where you can see it was adapted from a comic into a long-running television series and a bunch of movies as well. So getting into manga, this is a big industry in Japan. So it's got about 677 billion yen, or about $5 billion in annual sales, meaning that manga is actually roughly half of Japan's book publishing market. And another thing we like about it is that it's a domestic growth industry where sales have been growing at about 6% annualized over the last decade. On top of this, manga is growing in popularity overseas, estimated at about a 15 billion global market size. I was quite shocked the last time I went home to Toronto for Christmas. One of the largest bookstores in Toronto, the manga section is absolutely huge. So, next time you go to a bookstore, maybe keep an eye out for manga. You might be surprised how large the section is. And another one of the reasons we like this space is that, as you can see on the right chart, digital distribution has been really what's driving growth in the industry. And much like the global video game industry, digital distribution is great for profit margins. So moving from manga to anime. Anime is about much like manga, it's a both a domestic and an international growth business. The anime industry globally has been growing at about 9 to 10% per year over the last decade. And this is really driven by overseas, which is growing very rapidly at 20% per year during this time. So Sony owns something called Crunchyroll, which is the largest dedicated anime streaming platform